So hit it.
Hello and welcome to This is Play Sports, the podcast. Today's special guest, nobody, just you and I, old man.
Yeah, it's Austin and Dirk. We're here to bring you a podcast. We will have occasional guests throughout the year, but today it's just the two of us. And Austin, let's start out with quarter number one. Let's talk about the Utes and all the drama they've had to go through. They've had some impressive victories since the death of Aaron Lowe.
Yeah.
Beating USC and Arizona State to really take control of the South Division.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really cool to watch. You know, I mean, in the midst of like incredible tragedy and just like heartache that doesn't even seem like it should be real. Like, I think the two wins have been really nice. I think they've been really like kind of like, you know, definitely the feel good moments of the year so far as sports in the state go. And it really feels like with the Utes in the driver's seat right now that this has potential to be like a kind of a magical season for them. What do you think?
I do. They have some tough tests left. They've still got UCLA, who we don't know. They're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde.
Oregon's
team.
Always going to be hard too.
And Oregon, the same thing. You know, they seem to be playing down to the level of their competition lately. It won't be easy, but they're certainly in the driver's seat to win the South. And then it comes down to that one game. And so far, the North has dominated that one game ever since they put the Pac-12 championship game together. But, the Utes have really overcome a lot of adversity. And I think, even the Charlie Brewer controversy, throw that in. The offense is on fire now with Cam Rising.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's interesting, like, had there not been, this kind of overwhelming sense of sadness surrounding the program, the big story would definitely be Cam Rising. Considering that, he was essentially, he had the starting job to start the season last year, was injured the first game, and they kind of just threw him by the wayside with, Brewer coming to town. And from everything that we've been seeing, everything we've heard, Rising had a really positive attitude the whole time, just put his head down and waited for his opportunity. And he's made the most of it. Had this season really not belonged to, Aaron and Ty's story, I think the story of the year would definitely be Cam.
I reached out to Cal Whittingham after the win over USC because that was a historic win for the program to win in Los Angeles. And he just indicated how proud he was of the guys and the way they've come together. Cal Whittingham has done a heck of a job. You think about trying to keep everything it's kind of like somebody told me once, sometimes coaching is like having 10 boiling pots and 3 lids, and you're constantly putting the lids on top of the pot. But gosh, talk about the things he's dealt with this season.
Yeah, and on an emotional basis, this might be like the most impressive coaching job he's put together in his tenure. Because it was interesting to read about how he found out about Aaron Lowe's death.
Right,
like the similarities he said were stunning. Because I guess when the similarity to Jordan's death, when he found out about Ty. He got a call like 6 a.m., bad news. Same dealio with Aaron is around 6 a.m. Same kind of call. It had to be a surreal moment for Kyle.
Yeah, and you had to think about the guys too. This has just got to be unbelievable. And you talk about life lessons. Most people don't have a life lesson like this, losing two friends or colleagues to gunshot wounds.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
Especially when you're like, in the college football world where these guys came from out of state, and you think about the recruiting process, you essentially are putting so much trust in, the parents of these kids are putting so much trust, hey, we'll take care of your kids. We'll get them a good education. They'll become better athletes. We want them to be a part of our program. There has to be, I would imagine, like a little sense of guilt when, you lose a couple guys in this part of their lives. And I just think like the emotional like obstacles that Whittingham's been going through have been immense, and I think he's done a really nice job.
And folks, if you get a chance, go to YouTube and watch the college game day story they did on
that was really nice. Yeah, it
was really nice. Quarter two, Ost, we're cooking along with the two of us. Let's talk about those BYU Cougars. They get off to a 5-0 start in the season, but they've kind of hit some roadblocks with back-to-back losses to Boise State and Baylor. Obviously, any hopes of a college football playoff, which were probably very small to begin with,
right,
are dashed, aren't they?
No, completely. And you wonder, like, especially this being one of their last years without a conference affiliation. it's like, what do you play for now? You just play to go to the bowl game.
Independence Bowl.
The bowl game you would have gone to regardless of how you finished, So that it's going to, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Kalani rallies the troops to finish the year strong. Obviously getting bowl eligible, they're only one win away from that, but having something they can feel proud of is going to be really important. I'm just looking through their schedule right now. I'm not really sure.
They'd have to fall off the turnip truck not to be bowl eligible. They got some easy games ahead of them,
Mhm.
but they got up to that impressive start, and they really dominated the Pac-12 South. Talk about the Utes winning the Pac-12 South in the
that was kind of
BYU kind of owned the division.
That was kind of a funny twist on the year. I pulled up their season right now. There are some kind of intriguing games. They do have another Pac-12 opponent. They have two more Pac-12 opponents in Washington State and USC. We talked a little bit about USC before we started. We'll see if, they're for real or not. This seems like they're kind of up and down. But, I think what's going to be the other defining game of the year for BYU is definitely going to be October 30th when a guy named Bronco comes to town with Virginia.
I'm sure Bronco is going to give lots of interviews and be really excited to come to town.
Mm-hmm. That'll be definitely a weird one for sure. But yeah, that's always been the problem with BYU. It's like you get to this point of the season, it's like, what left is there to play for? That's going to be remedied when they go to the Big 12 in a couple of years. But I think like this feeling is like really indicative of how independence has been for them.
Yeah, and let's not forget that game with Baylor was kind of exciting because it's a preview of the Big 12 to come. And I think, at least the announcers on TV were kind of indicating that maybe BYU learned a lesson just about how tough football is in the Big 12 physically, because Baylor's line did a really good job against the Cougars.
Yeah.
And, there's some adjustments BYU has to make.
Mm-hmm.
If you think about it, when Utah joined the Pac-12, Kyle said going from the Mountain West to the Pac-12 was like scaling the Grand Canyon.
I'm sure, yeah.
And then you look at TCU, who made the jump from the Mountain West to the Big 12. Where are they now? They're kind of a middle of the pack team. So something happens when you make that jump.
Yeah, it was easy to feel good about BYU going to the Big 12, when they were undefeated so far this year. It was easy to feel like, they're going to go in and maybe rip it up and really show those Power 5 conferences what they've been missing out on. But yeah, I think Saturday was definitely a reminder, like, you need to be like the physicality steps up a notch. Obviously you need consistent quarterback play every week in these Power 5 conferences. And I think this was not only a week where that was shown, but also, where they realized, hey, we don't have Zach Wilson anymore. The play behind center isn't,
I think they missed the Brady Christensen's and the offensive line. I know they were injured a little bit up front.
Friend of the program, Brady Christensen, by the way. Yeah.
But you've got to be ready to go every week, and it's a grind. And even if you're not playing the toughest teams in the world, if Oklahoma and Texas leave, that's the question: how tough is that league? But Oklahoma State looks very ominous right now.
That's a sneak preview for a story you're working on, by the way.
So, yes, there's some teams, and Baylor's doing well, and there's some teams in that league that obviously will be contended with.
Hey, let's take a halftime drink real quick from our sponsors.
Dutch Brothers.
Thank you, Dutch Brothers Centerville, for all your contributions to the pod that you're not aware of. But thank you.
Even though you don't give us free drinks.
Yeah, maybe that can change. Anyway, let's get to quarter three. What's quarter three?
Major League Playoffs. Let's talk about the current format. The Giants and the Dodgers played a game 5, an epic game 5. Yeah. First round of the playoffs. Is something screwed up where they play so early in the playoffs to the two best teams in baseball?
I would say so. Yeah. But I don't know. Like my question is, how would you change it? Because that's just kind of the way the chips fell. There were a couple of tragedies there. The one being, that they played each other in a game that wasn't the most important of the year. For them it was, but in the grand scheme of a championship. But also the way that game ended was also kind of, you saw that the check swing to end the game, which was a horrible call. But anyway, back to your original point, it did kind of suck that the two best teams of the year played each other so early in the postseason. But like what, I don't know how you fix that. I don't know what the solution is.
Yeah, I mean, there's over the years there's been solutions like two teams from the same division can't play each other in the first round. So you juggle things up, but then you're messing with records and stuff.
Yeah.
And kind of taking the world order. But it is weird that the two teams with the two best records in all of baseball had to play each other in the first round. There's something wrong there.
So what is the solution? Just dissolving the league format and the division format altogether and just sending the best 10 teams to the postseason?
Or maybe just going with the teams that qualify, but then slotting them in by record.
Yeah, it's hard. Like the solution for like that this conversation's been had in the NBA a lot too, especially the last few years, considering just how stacked the West has been compared to the East. And so that's kind of been the proposed solution, is just, rank them by record, and then let one play 16 or whatever. But baseball is like, if baseball feels so different because the division matchups matter so much. And then there's the difference between American League, National League with the designated hitter. It feels like it would just be a real shakeup to really make things better. I guess it would be like a big adjustment, I would say. It's hard. It's weird. I don't know what the solution is. Baseball seems a little bit more handcuffed with how they're set up.
All right, let's go for some predictions now. LA, Atlanta, who's going to win the National League?
I want it to be Atlanta just because that would be funny, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm going to say Dodgers go to the World Series. What do you say?
I agree with you. I think, in fact, I think the Dodgers are going to win the World Series again.
Yeah.
So I'll go ahead and jump ahead. Boston, Houston. I want Boston, but I think Houston's going to win that.
Yeah, I feel likewise. But you know what? That's fine. I think that's like, in terms of entertainment, that's the World Series matchup you want. It's, LA, Houston, considering, Houston's history with, slamming on the garbage cans and really doing the Dodgers dirty. I think that's the matchup I wanted last year that we didn't get. By the way, isn't it weird how good the Rays are typically from year to year? That doesn't make sense. But anyway, but yeah, I think
that nice stadium they play in.
Yeah, it's a gem. Yeah, it's the pride of Major League Baseball with Tropicana. But no, I think from an entertainment standpoint, that's the one you want. I think you want guys. I think you want to see Clayton Kershaw throwing at Jose Altuve's chin, at some point during the series.
Little chin music,
Yeah, I think.
And at least the Yankees aren't in, right?
I think, yeah, there is a little satisfaction in that, but I feel I've kind of come full circle on the Yankees. Like there are some, I think what they are and what they stand for. I don't think I'll ever like them, but they have some guys, on their team that I like. I like Giancarlo Stanton a lot. I like Aaron Judge a lot, and I really like Aaron Boone a lot, their manager. So I feel a little bit better about the Yankees than I have in years past, but.
Well, I don't think we're too far removed from an LA, New York World Series.
No, the Yankees, they underperformed. They should have been better, and it took them way too long to figure it out.
All right, we're to the fourth quarter, the final quarter. Let's talk about the Utah Jazz. They opened the season this week.
Mm-hmm.
You're a resident expert on the Jazz. What do you think?
Here's my feeling. And not only am I a resident expert on the Jazz, I'm also a resident pessimist on the Jazz, just because of a lifetime of cheering for the team. I think that's a natural conclusion you arrive to. The national media really likes the Jazz this year, and I think that's a really bad sign. I think they have the capability, the capacity to be one of the best teams in the NBA, but I think in doing so, especially the national pundits are putting so much faith into Mike Conley's health. I don't know where that comes from, because I would be shocked if he plays 50 games this year. I really would.
Right.
Considering his age and his history of injuries, especially since he's been here in Utah. I don't know. I think Conley's the linchpin for this. I said it last year too. And I don't know. I just don't have that much faith that he can stay healthy.
Do you think Jared Butler's obviously got a lot of, notoriety, publicity, whatever the word is.
Sure.
In the preseason. Is he going to be a factor, or is the bench just so deep that we may not see him till there's a turnover in the roster a little bit?
Yeah, I think that'll depend on the matchup, to tell you the truth. I think we saw, especially in the series that knocked the Jazz out against the Clippers last year, they really need more guys who are like athletic, and can run all over the floor, guard in multiple positions, kind of play a little bit more small ball, I think is what you would say.
Right.
I think that's where Jared Butler fits in, is when they play teams like the Clippers, teams. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Let's just say the Clippers. Yeah, just teams like the Clippers. I think he'll
Even
see
the Clippers without Kawhi.
Yeah, even that. Yeah, I mean, because Kawhi is not going to play very much in the regular season either.
If at all, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be interesting.
Yeah, how do you see the West? I mean, the Lakers have obviously stocked up, and some of the other teams have. Memphis is the team on the rise, and then you got the usual suspects, the Denver Nuggets and such, Phoenix Suns, obviously. How do you see the West? Where do the Jazz fit in?
I think the Jazz are still definitely like a home court advantage team in my mind. If they get enough contributions from Conley. The Lakers, though, and we heard our good friend David Locke talk about this on the radio. I don't love the Russell Westbrook pickup, because I don't know if you knew this, but he is legitimate at that position, at the point guard position, the worst 3-point shooting point guard ever. I think he has a career average of like 30% from beyond the arc, which is very poor considering the league average is 35. I think in like just today's NBA, when we're going to see the Warriors are going to have a nice push, I think the Nuggets continue to get better. I think they still are. I think the Nuggets still have some good youth as well, some room to grow. I think that the Lakers I don't think they built their team very smartly.
They're old.
They're incredibly old, and like, who can shoot on that team? Who can space the floor?
Not Melo and the boys.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Well, how do you see a team like Portland with Dame Lillard? Does he just not have any help?
That's fun. That's like the one we forgot about. We forgot that was kind of like the drama this offseason, where Dame was, kind of, said, "Hey, we need to figure this out, or I'm walking." I think we're going to see some mid-season trades from a lot of teams in the Western Conference as they try to like get, appease their superstars and get where they want to be. I think I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe like 2 or 3 big trades during the season this year.
Happens. Well, that'd be interesting. So, bottom line, who do you see in the finals?
I would say the Nets if it weren't for Kyrie Irving. I think that's a huge problem though, so I'm going to say the Bucks. And coming out of the West, I'm going to say the Nuggets. I'm going to say Bucks Nuggets, and then I'm going to predict that game goes 6, and I'm going to say the Bucks. What about you?
There you go. I think I'm going to take the Bucks to win it again, just because Kyrie Irving. I think if he were healthy and in camp right now, the Nets seem to have a juggernaut if they got everybody. But it's going to be interesting. There's a lot of teams.
Who do they play in the finals?
That's a good question, because I'm not sure the Suns will get back there again.
I don't either.
And the Warriors are dangerous if Klay Thompson's back 100%, but I think he may not be ready to go when the season starts.
I think Draymond Green's regression is enough to keep him out of it.
I agree. And I just think the West is too stacked right now. I mean, if Murray's back, Denver's going to be really tough to beat.
Yeah. So make a pick. What do you?
I'm going to totally agree with you.
Yeah.
I'm a copy.
We're really good, right?
There we go.
It would be fun if we had a little bit more conflict where, we were like shouting and like throwing our drinks at each other, but
we'll work on that.
We'll that'll be next week's show.
We'll work on that. Well, hey, let's do our parting shots and call it a night. We appreciate Sammy being our engineer.
Good job, Sam.
She's probably ready to move on, do something else tonight. But also, what's your parting shot?
My TikTok. I said, I'm looking at Sam doing your TikTok, and so TikTok was on my mind. My parting shot.
I don't even know what it is. I'm old.
It's a dancing app where you can dance on there and make money somehow. Anyway, so my parting shot this week is going to be about Jose Canseco. And this is going to sound weird. It's going to sound crazy. So he's in town. Well, not really in town. He's in St. George to play in the World Senior Games. I guess he has a competitive softball team. Imagine playing Jose Canseco in slow pitch, right? But I guess, when he was in town, he tried to reach out for an opportunity to do something good in the community. Found this kid who had recently been granted a Make-A-Wish. He had a brain tumor, and he got a batting cage installed in his backyard for his wish. And I talked to his dad on the phone, the kid's dad, and his dad was like, said that the kid was like, it'd be fun if like a ball player ever came and hung out with me at the cage. Sure enough, Jose Canseco stopped by, and everything I heard from the kid and from his dad was that Jose couldn't have been nicer. He just took a lot of time to show the kid a thing or two. I think Jose Canseco kind of has like a weird place in a lot of sports fans' minds, I think, because he's an admitted cheater, kind of a goof, I would say. But for everything I heard, he was incredibly kind to this kid. So, Jose Canseco went up a notch in my book.
Well, you know what? The world needs more nice people.
Yeah.
I've said that often. Speaking of which, my parting shot is on the same lines. Going to talk about the tributes paid to Ty Jordan and Aaron Lowe. My kids have told me one that's on Instagram and on the University of Utah.
For the record,
Instagram.
Dirk is not on Instagram. Anyway, go ahead.
But it's very touching when the fans made the tribute during the game. And like I said earlier, if you get a chance on YouTube to watch that segment on College Game Day, bring tears to your eyes. And it's, in the world where there's a lot of sadness, it's also nice to see a lot of kindness come out. And so I love that story about Jose, and I love how the University of Utah has.
Yeah, they made it a moment of joy, I think is what they call it at the stadium when they have everybody stand up and cheer. So, and
his funeral was positive too. Mm-hmm. And that seems so hard to do. Yeah. And
it's easy. I think it feels natural to want to do a moment of silence. But I think in a way it's more healing and more appropriate to like just remember like the happiness these guys had and created, Yeah,
but I think the bottom line, do something kind for somebody. We appreciate you listening to the podcast this week. Us, where can they get the podcast?
You can get it anywhere. You like Spotify, go to Spotify. You like Apple, go to Apple Podcasts. I think we're on like other ones too, but those are the main ones.
And check out our website. We got some new things on there.
Yeah, sign up for our newsletter. We're gonna get better at that too. So there's that email icon in the corner of the screen. So sign up, share your email. We won't say anything stupid. We're barely good at doing the newsletter, but we're gonna work on that. We're gonna ramp that up.
And the final thing we have to say is 2 thumbs up for thisistheplaysports.com. See ya.